JSB Talks Digital Transformation.
Hello and welcome to JSB Talks Digital, the podcast for marketers, digital change agents, and those of you bringing your skills into the digital age. I'm Joanne Sweeney-Burke, and this podcast is brought to you by Digital Training Institute. In this, the fifth in a series of special shows on digital transformation, I look at how corporate communications is changing in a social world. So coming up in today's episode, I have a digital transformation conversation with Julia Bramble, Facebook ads expert and founder of Bramble Buzz. In shoutouts, 3 tips to making your Facebook advertising campaign work for you. In JSB's column, why amplifying your corporate message with social advertising is a good idea. And find out what social media tool will bring your social advertising to the next level.
Digital Transformation Conversation.
I am delighted to be joined on today's show by Julia Bramble, a former forensic scientist, but now a social media strategist, consultant and speaker. She's also a practitioner and trainer and writes for Social Media Examiner. Based in beautiful Devon in the UK, Julia helps organisations bring results to their social advertising campaigns, particularly on Facebook and through her business Bramble Buzz. Julia, welcome to JSB Talks Digital. Thanks for joining me on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Now, we've known each other quite a long time, and in fact, we met for the first time at Social Media Marketing World 2016 in San Diego, and all of our conversations since then have been around Facebook advertising, and I know that you love Facebook advertising, and you're very good at it as well. But in today's show, I want to talk about Facebook ads when your conversion or your objective is not about sales and it's not about money. So let's talk about amplifying a corporate message. How do you think Facebook ads can help, for example, public sector organisations?
I tell you what, Facebook ads can be absolutely huge in this regard, and I'm so pleased that we're talking about that, because actually I feel that this is one area where people are missing out hugely on the power that they've got there. We all know that Facebook ads can help you to get your message in front of a very tightly targeted audience of exactly the right people for you, but people that you would probably never be able to get in front of otherwise. So it's a perfect tool for any organisation, be they public sector, be they corporate, be they small business, to actually get out there and get their message in front of the right people. And a lot of people think Facebook ads are just about sales, but that's absolutely not the way I approach it at all. I approach Facebook ads as very much a targeted communication tool. And if you think about them like that, then it makes perfect sense that you can absolutely use them for amplifying your message, for sharing really great value before you start doing anything else that appears to be selling whatsoever.
Now, both you and I work with clients, and one of the key jobs that we have is to manage the expectations of our clients. So how do you approach it when it comes to Facebook advertising? We all know that they want results, but don't we have to educate them that there's so much to be done in advance of them even achieving their goal?
Totally. And I think this is one of the reasons why I really hate some of those ads that we see ourselves on Facebook that pop up and say, you know, just do this and everything will be solved in your business, because it's just not true. And Facebook ads are, you know, they're very important, but they're a small piece of a sequence that business owners and corporates would need to have set up to actually make them work for us. So we need to think about what's going to come before the Facebook ad, what's going to come after the Facebook ad. And once again, I think that if we think about Facebook ads as really a communication tool, then we're much more likely actually to think about them in terms of putting a process around them than simply a standalone silver bullet that all of a sudden is going to make their world a massively different place.
Now, in the last 12 months, more and more organisations and companies have been investing in Facebook advertising. We've now almost 2 million people using Facebook as a communications platform. Their ad revenue is spiraling to new heights. And it means that cost per conversion is undoubtedly only going one way, and that's going up. Do you think that our clients will be comfortable to put their hand a little deeper into their pocket?
Well, yes and no. I think that people who are trying to use Facebook ads the wrong way, that is, use them as a tool to go out and try and just sell their stuff to a cold audience, are going to find it increasingly difficult. But that's absolutely right. Because, you know, in what other form of marketing are you actually able to go out there and just sell your stuff to a cold audience? None. So I think we're going to see that approach decreasing, as well it should. But I think that actually if we use Facebook ads to share value in the first place, if we tap into the enormous power of retargeting, that is going back and talking to the people who've actually shown an interest in what we offer or what we say or what our business does, then I don't think actually that our costs are necessarily going to spiral. Because if we're sharing value, if we are talking the same language, if we're tapping into the pain points that our audience actually have and resonate with in the first place, then we get their attention and we can start to build that relationship. And if we're thinking about costs, then we also need to start thinking about the newer features that Facebook ads have brought in, such as being able to use video in our Facebook ads and then go back and talk to the people who've watched a certain percentage of our videos. If we start to get a little bit smart like that and use some of the tools that Facebook are now giving us, then I don't necessarily think our costs are going to go up, but our results are going to be much better than, as I say, just using them as a tool to sell to cold audiences.
Now, 42% of marketers report that Facebook is either critical or important to their business. And I think you've just answered my question. How do they stand out from the crowd to get noticed when organic reach has plunged to 2% for many of us? I guess, is video the new way to capture attention with Facebook ads?
It's certainly a great way. I mean, I've been working with clients who have absolutely been in the situation that you talked about, where we haven't been going after sales with Facebook ads. We've been going after sharing a message. One of my clients actually cannot sell because they're in a heavily regulated industry, so they've been sharing value. And we are looking at cost per video view in a highly targeted audience of less than half a penny. So
wow,
it's certainly, you know, in terms of, and then we can go back and we can talk to the people who've watched the video. So they've already really started to form a relationship with that business or with the provider of the information. So video is certainly a really great way of getting out there. But also the other key point, as we did just discuss, is to know your audience really well, is to know where they're at, is to know the context that they are in and what matters to them. And that's the key thing, I think, that a lot of people miss. They're using the Facebook ads technology without using that basic marketing principle. But put the two together and I still think that you can grab attention.
Let's talk about the emotional connection. While Facebook ads, you know, does the algorithm and all the scientific and analytical work, it really goes back to an emotional connection with an individual and a message.
It totally does. It absolutely does. Because whether you're thinking about using Facebook organically, that is without paying for ads, or whether you're thinking about using ads to place your message in front of people, you've still got to capture their attention. And you're not going to capture their attention if you're talking in a way that doesn't make any sense to them. You are going to capture their attention if you're talking in the same kind of language that your people would be using. If you are using an image that resonates with them, or a video, for example, and if you're actually talking about something that matters to them. And that's the key point, is knowing not only who they are and where they live and what they do for a job and all that sort of stuff, but knowing about what matters to them and how they feel about it. And the minute you can start talking about that, whether you're using organic or paid Facebook, then you start to build that emotional connection. And after that, things become easy. and conversion cost, if you want to look at it like that, will be massively tiny compared to going out there and just trying to hit people over the head with a sales message, which is sadly what so many businesses still do.
Now, finally, Julia, and I'm loving all your answers. This is great.
Good.
Should organisations use Facebook ads to build up their funnel from top to bottom, cold to hot, unaware to loyal? And how long does it take and what should be their approach?
Yes, absolutely. Please go from cold to hot. As I've already said, just trying to bash people over the head with your sales message is going to get you nowhere fast. And in fact, you will probably ruin your reputation in the process. Those people won't want to know about you if you've just gone out and tried to sell to them without a little bit of courting, first of all. So let's think about Facebook as a way to actually attract attention in the first place and start the relationship with giving, whether that's giving them information or actually just starting to have a conversation or say that you understand them, whatever it is. So start your funnel that way. In terms of how long it's going to take you, that really does depend on thinking about who it is that you want to attract in the first place. And again, a lot of people overlook this fact, but if your product or service is aligned with people who need to know quite a lot about the problem that they have, for example, and need to have maybe invested in a couple of solutions before they come to you, then it's going to take you quite a long time to build up that trust and that education. And you can either do that using Facebook ads the whole way through and the power of retargeting, or you can add in other tools such as email marketing or even direct mail marketing to help you with that process. But you would be looking at probably quite a prolonged process. However, if you really want to target people who are sitting on the edge of their seat and just waiting for the opportunity to buy something because their pain or their problem is just doing their head in so much, then actually the time spent between warming them up a little bit and actually offering them a service or a product to help them could be very, very quick. You could do that in a matter of days. But that really goes back to you, the business owner or the corporate, being very clear about who it is that you want to attract in the first place, but not just the who, but actually how they feel about the problem that they've got.
Julia, it's always a pleasure to speak to you. And I get excited about Facebook ads too, so that helps.
Good.
If you want to find out more about Julia, then please log on to her website, bramblebuzz.co.uk. She's also on Twitter as @JuliaBramble. And make sure that you give her Facebook page a like. It's facebook.com/BrambleBuzz social media. And of course, I've mentioned on this podcast before, she has her Monday Facebook Live with another good social media friend of mine, Ian Anderson Gray. So please give that a plug, Julia, before you go.
Oh, thank you. That would be brilliant. Yeah, please come over and join us for our joint Facebook Live show. It goes out Mondays, 2 p.m. GMT, on our own Facebook page, which is called Free Range Social. We'd love to have you there, listening in, joining in the conversation. If you can't make it live, then just pop across to the page and catch any of our replays. It would be lovely to see you there.
And I love the show, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
JSB Talks.
In today's column, I'm going to tell you why you should amplify your corporate message with social advertising. Public relations and reputation management is just as important as sales in your organisation. Never forget that. If you are an organisation that needs to amplify a message, then here's why you should consider using social advertising as a marketing tactic. Social advertising equals targeted advertising. You can serve your message to precisely the audience that you believe needs to hear what you have to say. The analytics and the data that results from a social advertising campaign will tell you who is actually engaged with your message, and this is critical to measuring the success of your campaign. Social advertising also knits nicely in with an overall PR or corporate communications campaign. Your ads should complement your press release, media interviews, and speeches. In fact, why not consider promoting a media interview? By embarking on a social advertising campaign, you can collect the digital footprint of those who are engaging with you by a piece of code called a pixel. This will help you build a community of people interested in your message and in your organisation. Social media is ubiquitous, and we expect to hear from all types of organisations and agencies on the social web. However, social advertising by its very nature will help you craft your story and your message better. So, will you engage in social advertising to amplify a corporate message? What outcome do you want to achieve, and what message do you want to amplify? If you want to have a digital transformation conversation with me, simply drop me an email to joanne@digitaltraining.ie. After all, everything starts with a story or a conversation.
Social media tool of the week.
The social media tool that saved my working week this week is Pixel Caffeine by Adespresso, which is a free WordPress plugin. In just a few simple clicks, you can begin creating custom audiences for almost any parameter you want, whether it's web pages visited, products and content viewed, or custom and dynamic events. The Pixel Caffeine features include instant installation, which gets the Facebook Pixel site-wide without typing a line of code, just a simple click. They also have advanced custom audiences. This allows you to create audiences based on standard or custom events, referring sources such as Twitter, Facebook, or Google, categories, tags of content, specific URL parameters, and literally almost anything you'd like. I also love the feature Facebook Dynamic Ads with WooCommerce. This automatically tracks visitors based on what they viewed, so product name, product category, and product tags. And then it dynamically retargets them with advertisements on Facebook or Instagram. Here's other things that you can do with Pixel Caffeine. You can create category audiences for your blog or website and then retarget these visitors with lead generation or direct sales campaigns. You can also create audiences of people that viewed specific products and dynamically target them with specific incentives or coupons for exactly the products they viewed. And finally, you can create audiences of those that submit particular forms, click on certain buttons, or take certain actions while navigating or searching your website. Take a look at the blog associated with this podcast at digitaltraining.ie to see their video, or log on to wordpress.org/plugins/pixel-caffeine to install it on your WordPress website. Thank you so much for tuning in to the 5th episode of JSB Talks Digital Transformation. I hope you're enjoying this special series. As always, I have everything discussed on today's show on my blog at digitaltraining.ie. To ensure you never miss an episode of JSB Talks Digital, make sure you subscribe on your smartphone, on iTunes, or on Stitcher. You can also subscribe on SoundCloud. I'd love your feedback on this series, so be sure to tweet me your thoughts to @tweets by JSB, or you can post a comment on our Facebook page, Digital Training Institute. I'm Joanne Sweeney-Burke. This is JSB Talks Digital Transformation. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.
JSB Talks Digital Transformation.